In this course, you will learn a variety of lighting styles for successful corporate headshots. Follow me to central London to photograph 2 clients where I show you how to do this with minimal equipment. In the first scenario, I'll be photographing a female executive in an indoor office space. You'll learn 3 completely different looks, shot in the same location on a time crunch. Learn how to dramatically change the look of your photo very quickly and easily. In the second scenario, I'll be photographing a real estate investor outdoors on a rooftop. I will teach you how to maintain detail in the sky using high-speed sync, as well as how to avoid reflections when the subject is wearing glasses.
Hello and welcome to Academy Live episode 48, second try. Apparently there are some issues with Facebook, so what we'll do is that we'll actually record this whole session and we will post it afterwards. So and monitor the questions that pops up afterwards. So we will be doing that for this evening and also the next couple of days. So please go ahead and comment as you watch this and we will respond to this. These questions. Today we have the last episode before the summer break, and David is not here. He's on vacation in the southern part of Sweden, but we thought we're going to have some fun anyway. So we invited Hannah Couzens from UK.
Hello, everybody.
And we're going to have a little bit of headshot bonanza here today. We have 2 models. We have Elin here, and we also have Kalle. And these will represent all different types of sexes that we have on the planet Earth. So we will be able to talk about the difference between shooting a man or a female, etc. If there are any differences, who knows? And we'll try different types of styles. We will shoot dramatic shot. We will shoot beauty, hard light, soft light, everything. And Hannah will, of course, guide us through this. So, Hannah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I mean, I think it's hilarious that we didn't break the internet, so apologies for everyone that tuned in. That's not our fault. But yeah, it's. I think it's quite apt because it's the kind of thing where you have to find a solution, and we found a solution by recording this and posting it later. And I find that that's the same with any kind of photography. Sometimes you encounter problems, or certainly for me, when I walk into certain locations, there could be all sorts of problems, and you just have to find a solution. So I think it's kind of funny that this happened in a way, because it's kind of led us to finding solutions. This is life, and this is how it goes. And I think pretty much that's what we're going to do a lot of today, is that I didn't really want to script it. Well, I never script anything, but I didn't want to sort of have a plan as such, because very often I think I have an interesting way of working, which can kind of be that I think you have to allow for a certain degree of flexibility when you're shooting headshots and you're working with people. Because I think sometimes if you have a set pattern, some of us, when you're first learning lighting, you sort of think, okay, this is safe, I'll use this, but you find that you keep using the same setup and you get stuck in a rut with that. It might not be the most flattering or suitable thing for the person in front of you. So pretty much for me, I sort of try and find solutions based on the person that's in front of me. And sometimes I'll think that this might be a good idea. And honestly, sometimes you try and you think, actually, that's not the best light, or this isn't the result that I was looking for. So you just have to adapt and change. And so pretty much we've got a few modifiers out here. Some of my favorites, and we've got a bit of a mixture really. But the way I like to look at these is that I feel that they are, when you're cooking, I feel like they're your ingredients, and it all comes down to what are you trying to create? What are you looking for? One is not better than the other. It just comes down to what do you need, as in what are you trying to achieve, and what is the best thing for that person. So today is going to be a freestyle.
We'll
A bonanza.
freestyle, exactly. we'll try all different kinds of styles.
Exactly, because it's
We'll
real
go high
life.
and low.
Exactly, and that's
But we'll try to do some normal headshots. And
normal.
So we will
A
not go
normal headshot.
completely bananas with
no.
gels and stuff like that. So,
No,
yeah.
because pretty much, and no, we're not going to go too nuts. And a lot of the time, still, as you know from before, if you've seen the other live that I did, I try not to overcomplicate things. I think you can achieve an awful lot with just one light. So I feel that, you know, we're not going to go too crazy. I think I'll probably only use a maximum of 2 heads. And that sort of, I feel, is, yeah, I think we might add a third, I don't know, but probably 2 I find perfectly adequate for the sort of work that I do, all sorts of headshots, all sorts of things. So yeah, I think we'll just shoot a mixture and see what we can create and see what we can do. Be fun.
Excellent. So I'm just commenting here on, because it's still not loading for a lot of people.
Okay.
But I'll just make a comment that we will post it afterwards.
Yeah,
But
sure.
we will show, you will shoot pictures and we will show
Yes.
in Capture One. We'll show you the
Yep.
the pictures so that people can see them.
Definitely. Good.
So what are your plans? You got Elin now. What are you thinking?
Ellen here. And the nice thing about this is that this is real life kind of for me. So Ellen and I met, 30 minutes ago, probably. But most of the time, I don't even have that amount of time with somebody. They just literally walk through the door. And this will be, most of the time, the first time that I've ever seen them. Because, of course, I don't, when someone books in, you don't know what they look like, you know nothing about them. And Ellen are you a professional model?
No.
You could have fooled me, but no, you're fabulous. But the thing is, I can tell just by looking at you and just sort of how you are, you're kind of nervous right now? Yes. Okay, cool. So this is common. This is like 99% of people that walk through the door, they're nervous. I'd be nervous if I was sat there too, because it's intimidating and it's, no one really likes being in that seat. So pretty much now, what I want to do is shoot a mixture of things with Ellen. And for right now, I just want to sort of figure out what's going to suit her, really, what's going to be the most flattering thing for her. So pretty much, like looking at you, straight away, I will talk about the signs that, can make you nervous, or the obvious signs of nerves. So, breathing is a good thing. So keep breathing. But it is on us to calm the client down. So if I'm all wound up and hyperactive, which is kind of common, I need to just tone it down a little bit. So, because your client's going to read off of you as well. Now, the other thing is, if we're now getting down to features and everything else, so when you first walked in, I said to you, you've got the most beautiful eye colour. Fantastic. So I really want to pull that out. Do you know, this is a weird question, do you know which side of your face you prefer to the other?
No, I think this one.
You think that side?
Yeah.
Okay, so that side facing camera?
No, probably that.
That side, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Right, no problem. Okay. So it's always interesting. A lot, you'll find some people know and they are very certain about that. Other people haven't got a clue. So we're pretty sure that we think that is going to be the side for you that you prefer. When you see photos of yourself, what is your sort of immediate reaction? Yeah. Shock?
Is that me?
Is that you?
Yeah.
Right. Which I think happens to all of us, right? You see a photo of yourself and you're like, is that really what I look like? Mm-hmm. So that's the thing, it's a shock. So first of all, what's going on is that you're seeing a mirror image of what you see in the mirror. So when we go in, we think we look one way, and then of course it's flipped this way. But there's nothing specific. There's nothing you can say to me sort of, I hate this, I hate that, or whatever. There's nothing specific that for you.
Yeah, I told you before that I think I have a lot of chins.
Right.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel like a double chin.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Okay.
And when I smile, I get a lot of wrinkles in my.
Join the club, sister. But yeah, it's true. But actually, that's a very good point. Is that it is true. The sort of older you get, the more these lines come around your face,
Yeah.
and I find that a lot of my clients, certainly the women, don't necessarily smile properly. Because of course, when you smile properly, of course, those deeper those lines go, right? So, and we don't want to see those. So there's things that we can do. This is where it's going to come down to light and to modify a choice as to what we can do to make that firstly less obvious. But I think the worst thing you can do, a lot of my female clients, I find if that is an issue for them, they don't smile properly and they don't smile with their eyes. So you get this kind of like mouth doing it, but the eyes are not doing it. So you get the rabbit in headlights, but the mouth is and it's all kinds of bad. So it's our job to reassure them, firstly, but to choose a light that isn't going to accentuate that, something that's going to, so therefore for me, what I'm not trying to bring out is texture. So if I'm not trying to bring out texture, what are we looking for? We are looking for a
soft light.
Yeah,
Awesome,
exactly.
yeah.
So we're going to go for a softer light. Now that you've told me that, I think we'll try something. We will try a harder light with you to start off with, just because I think, I think it would suit you as well. Like, it was not my personal choice. Most of the time I realise I shoot with soft light. It's just a personal choice. It's not, it's not right, it's not wrong. It's my personal preference. Other people watching are going to be hard light. But
yeah, because I mean, for me, I love the hard reflectors, and I love the hard light. So it's really, there's no right and wrong.
Absolutely not.
And you can sometimes, I mean, especially if you want some texture in clothing and so forth.
Exactly.
Then I love, and even you can mix. I mean, you can do both soft and hard light.
Yeah.
It's also really interesting when you have a big, like this guy I have behind me, which is a really big modifier, or like the Octa you're going to use soon.
Yep.
And then you can use a small light source to highlight maybe a brooch or a certain detail in a dress, etc., and get hard light on it. So you
100%.
can mix those. So
Definitely, but the thing is, the lesson really is that there is no right or wrong. We're just it's knowing what's going to happen when you choose this versus if you choose this, if you choose this. So for Ellen,
said.
So
well said.
Thank you. Compliment. My God, you get that on camera. Right. Okay. So let's actually start shooting, because the whole point of me being here is that I wanted to shoot. So let's do this. So we already have a hard light modifier set up. So let's keep this really simple. I'm going to get you to stand, if that's all right, Ellen. And I'm going to bring you over to this wall over here. Let's turn this.
And while you're doing that, I'll just give the people a little bit of an update. You are a Sony shooter, right?
I am, yes.
You're shooting today with an A7.
A7R3, and I've got the 85 1.4 G master lens on.
85 millimeter.
85, which is it is my favourite. I do love
very popular portrait
focal length.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because for me it's a nice distance away from the subject. So sort of we can stay, for where I sort of want to shoot sort of here upwards, we can stay a comfortable distance away from each other, and I don't have to worry about distortion and all of that.
And we'll be shooting with, we have a couple of B10s, and we have one B10 Plus.
Yeah.
Not that we necessarily need it in the studio, because we are in a controlled environment, but we have it just because we can. We have a whole bunch of different modifiers. I don't know if we can see that on this camera. We got some octas, we got some strips, we got some rectangular ones, we have beauty dishes, we have magnum hard reflectors, etc. So we got basically everything. We have it's like a Christmas Christmas store.
It's great. It's brilliant. We're
Toy
very
store.
lucky. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to keep this really simple. I know people are probably going to ask about settings, so I'm going to keep it at ISO 100. I'm going to shoot around f4, I think, for now, anyway. And shutter speed is at 125. So, and how I'm going to start to begin with is I'm going to take my first shot, what I would call my test shot. I'm going to shoot on TTL. So I use that. I don't use a light meter. I use TTL, take a shot, and then I switch it to manual. If it's too bright, I turn it down. If it's too dark, I turn it up. And I do that from the aim remote. So that's how I work. So, all right.
And the setup now is that you put Elin up against the wall.
Yeah, so
and
come
maybe
in.
about 2 meters away you have a B10 with a Magnum.
Yes.
And is there a specific reason why you put it up against the wall?
Because what I'm looking for as well is I want to show, if we're going to do something a bit more dramatic, I want to show the contrast that we're going to get from having a harder light source. So I'm looking for the shadows to be quite dark, and I'm looking for the highlights to be quite bright. So we're going for contrast. So I thought if I bring her against the wall, we're going to actually see those shadow edges a little bit better than if we come forward. So
fire away, and I'll switch over to capture one.
There we go. All right, perfect. So Ellen, I'm going to get you to turn your shoulders slightly towards the light. Perfect there. Excellent. So we're going to talk about the chin thing in just a second, but just for a second, just push towards me like this, and then just bring your chin down just a little bit. If anything, at your waist, lean towards me a touch. Perfect. Now bring your chin down with you too. There. Perfect. Don't move. Wonderful. Please keep breathing, otherwise you're perfect. You're great. You're doing a great job, my dear. All right. So let's just take a quick test shot, see what's going on in here. I haven't got a clue because I can't actually see any screens. So how is that, Anders, for our test shot?
Yes. So if you
saying?
come over, there you go.
Okay, cool. So that's kind of what I would expect. So let's just try one more thing. let's just bring I'm going to bring your nose down just a little bit more. There. Perfect. Let's do that one more time. Fab. Okay, cool. So what I would expect from here is I would expect, so you've got the shadow to be quite prominent, but what I'm really looking for is the shadow around her nose. So you can see those shadow edges are quite defined. That's quite a defined edge around her nose. Oh, we can go in. Fabulous. Well done. Okay, but also what's happening here as well is because it's a harder light source, and what happens with makeup too is, of course, that is going to be a little bit reflective. So what's starting to happen now is we've got sort of on the forehead and on the nose and on the chin a little bit, we've got those kind of quite bright highlights. So I think personally, having had that conversation with Ellen just now, of her saying that she doesn't really like those lines around her eyes, she's not smiling right now, any of that. If I carry on like this, those shadow edges are really going to be quite prominent around her eyes. She's not going to like it, basically. So we've done it. And I mean, as it goes, I think you've got incredibly good skin, by the way, Ellen. I mean, she's got incredible skin. If I stood there, that would be a whole different story. But you look good. Like, that's the thing, you look great. However, if I want to get your personality out and get you to smile and actually relax a bit, I want you to smile, and I want you to smile for real, and I don't want the things that you just told me you don't like to be coming up, because then I'm not doing my job properly because I'm not listening to you. So if we switch from here now, so if I bring you around back on your stool, so come and sit down for me. Most of the time, it's interesting, some people ask me, do I always have my clients sat down or stood up or anything like that? I prefer to have them sat down. 2 reasons: I'm really short, so bringing them my eye level tends to work quite well for me. And secondly, it does help them relax. So I don't want them to be too relaxed because, of course, we want to pose the body and the shoulders. However, it just helps them just calm and get back down to earth just a little bit. So moving over from here, let's try, what should we grab now? I think let's do the extreme. Let's go for my favourite. Let's go for 3-foot otter. So I'm going to bring this guy over here.
You want me to turn off the other one?
I've already done it.
Oh my God,
I work alone.
Such a pro.
Well, the thing is, actually, the funny thing is that
I'm used to babysit David all the time, so I have to do all these things. So I'm not.
Oh no, that's not true. David doesn't need you to do that. But this is the thing: is that I work alone most of the time, so I'm used to just doing everything myself.
And you are shooting now every shot in TTL?
No, well, actually, I just took 2. I took 2 right there just then.
Yeah. But you work a lot with TTL, right?
No.
No, you don't? Oh.
No,
okay.
I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
So I like control. But what I do for speed is I take the first shot. Let me get this out the way so that people can see a little better. I take the first shot in TTL and I use that as my light meter reading. So that sort of gets me ballpark figure. Then I'm going to switch to manual and then just adjust if I want to, up or down. So that's how I would work. So next thing let's talk about is what did we say when we first started? We said I really like the colour of Ellen's eyes. So the next thing I want to do is I actually want to put the modelling light on and have it kind of bright. Are you okay in there? Are you sure? If it's probably better if you can't see me, but it's like this is good. So good, and it's now I know what you look like when you're really laughing. That's good. So I'm going to bring that down just a little bit. So I would keep the modelling light on and keep it as comfortable as possible for the model, because what that's going to do, the more ambient light that's in the room and that's in Ellen's face, is it's going to make her pupil smaller, so therefore the colour of the eye is going to come out more. So as long as you're comfortable, if you start finding that it gets too sore or it's too bright, just tell me, let me know. So the next thing is we're going to find out the side that you like best. So let's turn your body slightly that way to start off with. So if you turn your body that way, perfect. Okay, couple of things. Can you still see me on this camera?
Yeah, I'll keep switching on between those two when.
Okay, cool. Right, as long as this is good, because then.
Now when I see you talking into that camera, I'll have to switch over to that one.
All right. So because we want to talk about this chin thing that you're worried about. So, and it happens to a lot of people. Sometimes when you're nervous, you sort of bring your chin in. So it's weird what you do. So you hold tension in your shoulders come up a bit, the chin comes in, and generally we're not looking our best. So we want to undo all of that. So sometimes you have to sit way taller than you would normally. Pull your shoulders back, right? No one sits like that, but in a headshot, it looks way better than if your shoulders are rounded. So I sort of need you to pull back just a little bit more than you would normally. The next thing is we do want to deal with that thing. So it's a case of just pushing. So from the side, you're going to push your chin slightly forward like that, and then you can come down a little bit. Perfect. So that's going to, now on camera, that's going to create a little bit of separation. And that also opens up your eyes a little more too. If you were to bring your chin straight down, what would happen is you would get a double chin, right? Everybody would. So the way around it is if you push forward first, then come down. Exactly. There you go. So you've got a defined chin. Your eyes are nice and open and really bright. You're looking really good. So keep breathing, dear. You're doing a great job. Okay, one more thing that's going to bug the life out of me. I can just see the strap there. So if you can just, that's perfect. Good. Perfect. Well done. That's it. Wonderful. Okay. You're fine. It's my job to set you. So even if you forget it all and relax, don't worry about it. I'm the one that has to put this right.
But that's a very good comment there, because sometimes some photographers don't realize that it's actually the photographer's responsibility to help out with these small things, because
100%.
you see
You're the mirror.
all the small details. If there's something is wrong with the clothing, or the hair is some strain of hair is strange. So that's, I think it's really important that
Well, it's on, I
you need
feel
to take
it's
that
on.
responsibility basically. And help.
Yes, I feel it's on us, and that's what I say
Yeah.
to people. I almost take that on the second they walk through the door and they're worried. I say to them, it's my responsibility to make sure you look as good as possible. I'm going to be your mirror, so I will tell you everything. But one more tip, I just get people to check in the mirror before you start, because sometimes if they come in and their hair's all one way, you think that that's normal for them. It might not be. So when they've gone and looked in the mirror, that says to you, how they look right there is exactly how they're expecting to look. So then when they come back, now you know if a bit of hair comes round, or if there's fringe splits or something like that, you know to look out for it to correct it. So that's one thing I get people to do first. Okay, right, so bring your chin around towards me a little bit here, a little bit forward with the chin, down just a little bit. Perfect, excellent. Okay, deep breath in. And out. Lovely, well done, perfect. There you go. I'm going to bring your chin down just a little bit more. Let's take a quick test shot, see what's going on in here now. So that was a TTL shot. What are we saying? How's it looking? Very good. Well done, TTL.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm going to jump off of that to manual just in case nothing else gets wild. So we'll take a few frames like this. Just follow me round, just keep looking towards me. You're going to bring your chin round a little bit more. Follow me towards the camera, Ellen, so round towards me here. Lovely, well done. Perfect. Okay, forward with that chin, push towards me, down a little bit more. Excellent. Okay, so now, there you go, right? So, okay, I did nothing right there apart from smile at Ellen. I didn't ask her to smile, and she started to laugh. So, because the thing is, be aware of that. We are programmed, right? So I didn't tell you to smile. I never tell people to smile. So all I could see is that the wave of fear was coming over you. So instead of asking you to smile, I was smiling at you. So naturally, you're going to mirror me. So in the end of that, you ended up smiling. See, that's what you look like with a smile now. So when I started, yes, shake it out, girl, well done. All right, good. Okay, so shoulders back, chin towards me, just a little bit down. Lovely, well done, keep it there. Chin round towards me, a little bit more this way, keep coming. Excellent, and now a little bit of a hint of a smile. Excellent, less like you're gonna kill me. Fabulous, girl, well done, excellent. Good, keep breathing, you're doing great. Lovely. Okay, so right now, I can see that you've got like almost a stifled smile. You're trying not to smile now. Do you like your teeth? Are you okay with your teeth?
No.
You don't like your teeth?
No,
I knew it. Exactly. Okay, good. So that's another thing that I can see is that a lot of people don't want to smile with their teeth. And so what starts to happen is that they want to smile, but they're keeping their mouth closed, and then that almost looks just as bad as a forced smile, because you're kind of deliberately, you're forcing something that isn't natural. So that's why I asked you straight away, because I was like, I've seen this before. This is the look of I don't want to smile with my teeth. So it's just a case which is fine. I'm not going to say to you, you're wrong, you must smile with your teeth. You're the client, and you smile exactly how you want to smile. But now that I know that, I need to get a shot of you with an expression that's still like smiling with your eyes, but the teeth you're not all teeth. So what we'll do is just perfect as you are. So just keep that little smile going in your eyes. So exactly there. So a little bit, there you go, perfect. Excellent. Chin towards me just a little bit and then down. Well done. Fabulous. Round towards me a little bit more with your chin. There you go, perfect. Well done. And now I'm going to switch you the other side. So just swing it around that way for me. How are we doing for light? Because I haven't got a clue what I'm shooting, by the way.
Yeah, it looks good.
Good. Fabulous. Excellent.
Exposure looks good. So we're good to go.
Happy days. Okay. So, oh, I'm sorry if anyone heard my stomach rumble just then. Okay, chin around towards me just a little bit more this way. There you go. Fabulous. Okay, so now I'm going to bring you back just a little bit more. So twist the shoulders first. So round to me like that. Perfect. Well done. Excellent. Chin down just a little bit. Nose round towards me a little bit here. Beautiful. Well done. Hold that right there. Excellent. Okay, keep that going in your eyes. Keep going, keep going. Fabulous. Well done. Okay, I'm going to see what we're getting here because I have no idea.
Slightly cold.
That's all right. It's a little bit. Oh, okay. Interesting. No, it's doing that. So,
There we go.
yeah, cool. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do. So at the moment, I've just set the light up as it is on one side. So the other thing I like to do as well is also experiment with where is, because you've got a very even face. Like it's not dramatically different one side to the other. You're looking at me like you disagree.
Sure.
It's okay. So you don't feel that. You feel the opposite. You feel like you've got a very uneven face.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. So let's see who's right. No, I'm joking. I'm only messing. All right. So now what I'm going to do is actually move the light from a different side so we can see and get a different kind of lighting pattern. I say that. It's more or less the same because it's not as if we've suddenly moved it around the back, but I'm interested to see this angle of the face with the light coming from that side. Okay, just twist your shoulders towards me a little bit more, Ellen. Chin down just a little bit. I might have gone too far here. Let me just check. Let me see. Okay, cool. How's that looking? Have we got quite a bit of shadow on this side?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right. See, this is the point where I listen to you about which side of your face you prefer. I think you look more comfortable, and I think you would prefer this side. So this is interesting. So I always shoot both. But I mean, I will obviously let you be the judge of this. But that's the thing as well, guys. I always shoot both sides. So even if the client says, I'd like this side, I'm like, let's just try some on this side. Because sometimes they've got that mirror image in their head and thinking that is their better side. And then you turn around and it's in fact the opposite. So good. So for me, you might notice a couple of things here. I've got the light very close. You see, you're starting to relax. Whether you feel like you are or not might be a different matter. How are you feeling better? Mm-hmm. Good. You can tell. It's just written. You know, you start to see.
But that's also one thing that I've noticed in a lot of headshot sessions is that normally the last 3 shots are the best ones.
Yeah. I said to
Ellen,
Ellen,
like the first hour just goes in order to get everybody's relaxed,
right.
calm, then, and it's towards the end that's when you get the really good shots.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I said that to Ellen before we started. I said, look, if you compare the first shot and the last shot of a session, they're usually night and day different. They really are. So just twist your shoulders towards me. And I used to think as well, I always used to think, oh, I shouldn't, you know, I talk so much when I'm shooting, and I really couldn't care less, because my whole point is that I just need to keep the client away from the fact that they are being photographed and that fear that comes in. So we would be talking about all sorts of other things right now if we weren't doing this, just to take your mind away from it. So it's distraction works really well, really, really well. Okay, good. So I might even, let's get a bit more drama going on. Let's just bring this a little bit further around here. So let's put that around there. So I'm actually going to bring the light quite far behind Ellen. Okay, just bring your nose around a little bit more for me, lovely. Good, perfect. Let's take that, but I have a feeling that I'm going to prefer it if your head is towards me just a little bit more. Because, yeah, the only thing that I want to avoid here is too much white in the eye. I'm not really one for rules and all this kind of stuff you learn in, you know, photography 101 books, but I just feel that too much white of the eye, when you're going for something this dramatic, might be a little bit of a distraction, because of course your eye goes to the brightest part of the image.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring your nose round towards me a little bit more. Okay, and eye line as well, so just bring it, perfect. Let's try that. See that there. Nice and tall with the shoulders. chin towards me and then down a little bit. Well done. Just bring your actually chin round towards me this way here. Keep coming. Perfect. That's it. So your eyes are a bit more centered. Little hint of a smile that you're not as scared as you are. Well done. Perfect. Excellent. All right. So that's another shot we've got. Slightly different again. So I think I'm going to do one more thing. With the, no, maybe.
Yeah, so now we've done a 3-foot octa fairly close, as people can see here on the video.
Yes.
So maybe it's,
very
what
close.
could it be, almost not really a meter away?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I think everyone's always really surprised with just how close I have my lights when I shoot. But the reason for that is that I love the soft light, but I love shadow too. So I love the fall off. I like how it goes from light to dark much quicker, and the closer you have that, the faster that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I want it really quite close.
But and even, I mean, the shadows that are casted from the nose tip, etc., are really, really soft. So
Good.
so it looks good.
That's what we're going for. So now I'm here. I've just decided to do something else completely. So,
Now
right.
Hannah is going bananas.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm here, guys. But this is it. This is what happens. I sort of think, okay, well, what else can we do while we're here? I'm going to make that octa into a backlight. So I do this a lot. So I'm going to bring you centered a little bit more to start off with, just so we can get a reading on that. Okay. Definitely not in TTL here, because we are basically going to shoot straight into the backdrop. Whoops. Sorry, the light. But the light is going to become our backdrop. So, how are we looking in the back there? Hey, nothing's coming up.
Did we lose the?
Have we got dodgy connection?
Let's see. There's no camera. No.
Any joy now? Is it saying no camera attached?
No camera.
It's going well today. No. Let's turn it off and turn it on again. I wonder if that's what they're doing at Facebook.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Okay, anything now?
No. What is that?
Fabulous.
Okay, I'll try this one here.
I don't think I can push that in anymore. Oh, it's looking a bit more promising.
Oh, there we go.
We're back in business.
We are back in
Happy
business.
days. All right, okay, so I'm expecting this now to be white in the back.
Yes.
Okay, good. Fab. Okay,
Very
that's
white.
probably...
You're 255 all across, so you're probably blowing. You're probably overexposed.
I'm kind of cool with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, because really, I mean, here's what I don't do. I don't sit there with a computer and get the histogram up. I don't, when I'm shooting.
Yeah,
But
I know.
So, but what I don't want is I don't want to blow out, you're right, I don't want to blow out the edges of the hair or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, we've got to watch for that. But that's a pretty much, first of all, and do you know what I like? I quite like how it's wrapping around the sides of her face and around the neck here, so that's pretty good. Right, Callie, I'm going to steal you to be a light stand. That's what you came for, right? So, I'm going to give you this. And let's go. So we're 2B here. All right, so let's build this up slowly. So I'm going to give you that. Thank you. Okay, let's turn this one off. I'm going to do it from the air remote so I can turn it back on. But let's just check what head it is. So that's now head A. So let's turn head A off. So you know what to do. This is great. That's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to bring you. Yeah. All right, you're like, excellent. Perfect. Right, so let's shoot that again. I'm going to chuck this on TTL because I have no idea who's had that light, where it's been set to, anything like that. So I'm going to turn your shoulders that way a little bit now, Ellen. Good, perfect. Let's take a shot here. Okay. How are we doing for light on there, Anders?
Very good exposure.
Very good exposure. Right, so let's switch that to manual.
Smack in the middle on the histogram.
Smack in the middle, that's what we want. Okay, good. So now we turn the head, so what I did there is I turned the head in the back off, just so that I could see what every light is doing, what each light is doing. So now we should have a white background. And
very beautiful, yeah.
And then we've got something there. So, but then finally, just to give it a little bit of something else, what we might do is just chuck in one of these. So, silver or white? That's the question. So I always like my shots to have a little bit of punch. So I'm going to just give you, can you right to hold that like that? Perfect. Okay. Is your arm all right, Kelly?
Yeah.
Perfect. So this is very me way of shooting. Just grab someone and get them to hold a light. get your model to hold your reflector. It's all fine. How are we looking in there?
That's great. It gives a
Just that little
really
bit.
nice shine. And you lighten up the shadows, you lower the contrast, and specifically if you look at the last picture, we look under the chin, it's very dark, and here it's all gone.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
So one
very
more
nice.
thing that we could do is if you wanted to flatten out those shadows a little bit more, you're going to hate this. I'm going to bring Callie up here and bring him slightly forward, and I'm going to actually flatten this down so it's almost falling ahead of Ellen. So it's actually going to hit the reflector here, less so more angled at her face, and we might need a bit more juice from it. Let's see what we get here. Let's take a shot. But
Yeah, take your time.
yeah, you're all right, dude. You're fine. You can switch arms if you want.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
you need more juice.
Perfect.
'Cause you
No, that's good.
came a little bit closer, so
Exactly.
You're still
So
smack in
basically
the
what's
middle.
happening now is you're not really pointing this at Ellen, you're bouncing it down here. You're all right.
Yeah, I'm fine.
And then it's bouncing up again. So it's evening. If you want sort of more of a flat light, but it's still like a glowy light, you can bounce that more at your reflector. Silver's going to give you a little bit more kickback than white, but it's another way that you can get a different kind of shot very quickly. You put your arm down now. Thank you, Callie. And I'll take that off of you. Thank you, my dear. Fabulous. So again, that's another way that you can just jump very quickly to a different setup.
yeah.
I mean, granted.
I keep it on.
Thank you. Brilliant. So it's another way that you can jump from one light to make that suddenly a backlight, add something else. But each bit, if you build it bit by bit, everything is doing its own job. So it's just a different kind of look, again.
And this is also a setup that you can do basically in any office, no matter what type of background you have.
Right.
If you're in a palace where they have blue, like dark blue, or you can still create this white background without having a whole backdrop with you.
Exactly. And that, to be fair, is why I wanted to show it, because pretty much it is commonplace for me, like we were saying about finding solutions to problems, is that, that's very common for me, is that I'll turn up somewhere and I don't, they could have terrible coloured walls. And never believe anyone if they say that they've got white walls. They're never white.
No.
Or there's like something about a thing across the middle. So this is a way that if you need a white backdrop, you can get it absolutely anywhere at any time, and you can completely change the feel of it. Now for Ellen, for me there, I wanted to sort of flood you with a lot of light because, as you said, I don't want to see those lines, I don't want to see that texture, any of that. So I know what I prefer for you out of those three setups that we shot. I actually preferred just the one light for you because I still like to see a bit of the structure of your face. However, when you see them, you might have a completely different view, who knows. But I feel that as we were working through, if we had more time, I would now go back to this and shoot a little bit more of it and work with that with you. But sometimes that's it. I just try different things and see what works out. So I think, though, before you pass out, I want to give you a break. So I'm going to switch you out. So thank you, my dear. You were fabulous. You feel better now that it's over? All right, look, you're going to take a break. Brilliant. Well done, superstar. Cool. I mean, at this point, we'd usually ask if there's questions, but
Yeah,
Anders,
exactly.
do you
So
have any questions?
Well, I find it very interesting how you're not afraid of moving the lights around. You try different angles, you try different sides of the persons. I mean, different
100%.
both, and you shoot quite liberally on both sides to make sure that you cover both.
Yeah.
No, so I think that's a lot of good learning tips there.
Good.
Not to be afraid of trying, and also what you do is that you go in without any kind of preset thoughts that it has to be this or this way. Because it's all dependent on who you are shooting, right?
Absolutely.
And so you have to adapt depending on what the situation demands.
That's it. Exactly
And,
right.
yeah.
So that's the thing. So now, Calais is a professional model who's used to being behind the camera all the time. So now we're going to go from sort of my everyday that is somebody like Ellen to now working with Calais. So pressure's on, mate. Grab a seat. No, it's interesting because the other thing is as well with professional models. Now, do you know which side of your face you prefer?
It depends on which side I have my
Hair,
hair.
right? So you change your parting.
Yeah.
You switch it up.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting interesting. So that is a huge part of people, of what determines what side people prefer. But that's a very, very good point. Most of the time it does depend on that, but I haven't heard of that many people that switch it up, so that's interesting. So what do you prefer?
What do you do if you're someone like President Trump, where you have like it's moving all over in the wind?
You get them to turn round,
Yeah.
get back on their helicopter and go back. And then you get the kind of windswept effect.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I mean, which side, when you say that, do you saying you prefer the kind of that part of it facing away from camera, or you're not sure?
Yeah, I think so, because
Okay.
it's the short side that's in front. So you
Right,
get
so the short side in front,
Yeah.
right. So interesting, look at the difference between Kalle, who knows like all of these things that, you know, because of course this is your job, this is, you know this stuff,
Yeah.
but the majority of people aren't going to know that. So it's sort of interesting now to sort of see the difference between two. So one thing that I can see, you've got a hair on your black t-shirt, that's it, you got it.
Grey hair, yeah.
Yep.
They're
Excellent, that's it.
everywhere.
See, this is the thing. So I could have left that, but I'm not going to waste 10 minutes retouching that. I'm just going to tell you. And then just on the side of your face here as well, just do that for me. Yep, that's perfect.
Because that's also a good tip to
Yep.
to give to people that are shooting headshot, is to bring one of those little rolls that you can roll on the sticky rolls for clothes.
Yeah.
Just to sweep through it, especially if you're shooting people with dark clothes, because that helps, saves you so much time in post.
Absolutely.
I just did it before I came on, but
Oh, did you? Excellent. You're like a plant. No, that's true. Like that's. Sorry, like I just zoned out. I just went completely in the zone. Okay, so, all right, what am I looking for here? So what I want to do is I actually want to push the shadows down. So I don't want to leave the light like this now, because I don't want the nose. What I know with guys, I prefer to, it's a huge generalization, but I prefer to add a little bit more structure into the face. Especially, you've got beard, I want to show that off, I don't want to sort of anything to blend in. So if I was to leave this light as it was right now, for completely side lit like this, the nose is going to cast a shadow across the face, which might interrupt the side of the eye socket. So what I'm going to do now is I can't talk. I'm going to raise this up and tilt it down, so the nose shadow doesn't go across the face, but it goes down instead. So therefore, I would be able to get a little, almost we're heading towards some kind of Rembrandt territory. We're going sort of that kind of direction, if you want to put a name on it. So I'm just going to do that by angling that down, just a fraction, and raising this up. I'm almost tempted to, yeah.
And I also noticed one thing is that you did not tighten that screw more than finger tight, because there are a lot of people that are using the B10s and the B10 pluses. They are over tightening those screws when you're tilting the flash. But since they changed the mechanism, there's actually like small teeth that actually hold it. So now even though you now have a pretty big modifier, it will not move. It stays steady.
No, because the thing is as well, that's what I joke about. You know, if I'm working with an assistant or somebody and they put it on, they tighten it up.
Yeah.
I'm then stuck. I'm like, who did this up? Because I can't. You know, I'm not as strong as them. So no, we've got the RFI on there. That's holding it just fine. No, you don't need to go crazy with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to turn your shoulders a little bit more towards the light. I think, Hannah, yeah, that's good. Okay, let's take a quick look at how that looks. So. Sometimes, obviously it's different. I've met you before, photographed you before. However, if it's a stranger and it's a member of the public, sometimes I say to them, and I make a joke of it, I'll say, sorry if I'm looking at you weird, I'm just seeing where the light's falling. So, like, because sometimes you don't, without realising it, you get in the zone. What happened the second I put that light there, I was like staring your face like this. Like, that's not comfortable for someone. So I generally, I mean, we know each other, so it's different. But if it is true, I say to people, if I'm looking for something, I'm like, oh, just, ignore me if this is a bit strange, I'm just adjusting the light. Because it can be quite weird if you're intensely looking at somebody. So, okay, go a little bit taller. All right, let's test shot this out. Actually, I'm going to shoot you a little bit lower. Let's go there. Okay, right, whack it in TTL, see what happens, get a test shot going. Because I think I might want to play with the distance a little bit better. I always do. I'm like, I can't see it. It's over here.
Oh, yeah, it's over here. Yeah. Looks good again. Exposure seems to be pretty okay.
Yeah, well done TTL. So that gets us there.
You can do adjustments on
What are you doing? Are you messing with my photos? But point being here, we've got that, you see how we've got that little triangle appearing and we've got that little bit of shadow. So we've got some definition still.
Yeah, so this is definitely a very nice Rembrandt with a very, very soft light.
Yes, which is kind of a very me thing to do. And that's the thing, is that I'm showing you, I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong or anything like that, but this is what I would do. This is my kind of style of working. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull you a little bit taller in your body. Excellent. Well done. I'm going to twist your shoulders a little bit more towards the light, I think. Yeah, good. Nice. Well done. Okay, hang there. Excellent. Well done. Okay, so I'm going to get you to take your hand off of your hip on that back, because I'm quite tight in there. I'm going to pull your shoulders back a little further. See, no one, again, overdoing it. No one really sits like that.
Oh, a controversial question for you, Hannah.
Oh, I love that. Come on.
So what about chopping heads? Because
What?
Chopping heads, some people
Oh, getting in the face?
frame them and they chop part of the top of the head.
Yeah, boy.
Some people do it and some people hate it.
Okay, so here's the thing. All right, let's shoot one like that. So if I'm getting, okay, it depends. Okay, so let's get intense here. So yeah, let's go there. And because I feel like if you're going to do that, you got to go all in and it's going to be intense for a reason. So let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, here's the thing. I love Calais' hair.
Yeah.
He said the thing that he likes is the part, or the whole thing is like how he combs it over, how it sweeps. So then if he's already told me that, this is where it comes back down again to listening to your client. Am I going to cut that off? Like, for me, no. Like, that's the thing, is that if that's a feature of his that he knows he likes, I know I like, to go and cut it off sort of doesn't really make any sense to me.
You can always crop it afterwards.
Thank you. This is why you came. Exactly. If you didn't hear that, Calais just said, you can always crop it afterwards. And exactly, that's how I feel, is that, you can make that creative decision afterwards, but you can't put it back in. So 100%. I knew there was a reason I asked you to come here. All right, good. Okay, so perfect. Well done. Shake it out. So I've got a question for you, Calais.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get you to just look out for a second, sit a little taller in your body. I'm going to change my eye line here just a little bit. So I got distracted. Okay, let's go again. Good, just eyes back to me, just this way, just a little bit more. Good. So for you, well, you've been photographed 1 billion times. Do you find that your angles, you do your own thing, or do you still prefer a bit of direction from your photographer?
No, I like direction because everyone
Has different tastes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I take a lot of selfies when I am a photographer myself. So
Yeah.
testing lights and stuff.
Yep.
I do it on myself.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to. I mean, it's from day to day, I would say.
Yeah.
How you feel and
Absolutely,
how you
so it changes.
think you look, and
Yeah.
obviously you are the worst judge
Of
of yourself when you photograph. So
100%.
I love taking cues and.
That's good.
tips
So that's
and,
always interesting to me.
Yeah,
I'm going to turn you the other way if that's all right. So we're going to now do the side that you don't think you're going to prefer.
because we all have different visions and of what we want to do, and maybe you find something that I
Haven't done before.
haven't done before.
100%. That's really interesting and a good way of looking at it. Good, nice, well done. I'm going to sit you a little bit taller in your body, Kelly. Good. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I think we're going to add a grid. Do you want to add the grid, Anders?
All right.
Okay,
you
I
want to have a
mean-
grid on it.
After last time, I mean, I've got to tell the truth. Last time I was putting it on and I knew that I hadn't lined up the corners, but I thought if I rip this right now, it is going to be so loud on the mic. Everyone at home is just, that's my excuse anyway. So no, we're going to put the grid on the Octa because I actually want to make this background go almost black if we can, because I want the contrast of Calais' grey hair against the darker background. I want that contrast, and I also want to add a second light in, so that's going to help us. I mean, if that had been me, I would have done it differently, but
Last time you were here, it was a catastrophe. This is how it should look.
This is how
OCD.
This is exactly how it should look. Very good. Thank you very much, Anders. Okay, so now we've put the grid on what we're expecting. Obviously, we've made a change to the light. So if I was to take the same shot again, I'm probably expecting this to be a little dark. So let's just take a test shot and see what we get. Not in TTL, staying in manual from where we were before. Are we a bit underexposed?
Yeah, probably a little bit. I mean, not a lot, but compare that one and this one.
Yeah, okay.
I'd say you lose about 0.3 maybe.
It's not too bad though. Okay, so here's another thing. I want to, actually I'm going to change my settings up a little bit. So I'm going to actually take this down. I'm going to change my aperture. I'm going to go f8 and I'm just going to jump back into TTL. Let's just take another test shot. Okay, how are we looking now?
Ooh.
There we go. Right, this is into the territory of where I want to be. So because obviously we have to have, got to be so careful with this, because we have to have the lights on in here, we've just got to be aware of how light is coming into the camera. So perhaps before we might have been shooting down at f4, we might be getting a little bit of the ambient light leaking in. So I want to go a little bit darker and I wanted to get that contrast. So I shut down from whatever I was at, f3.2 I think. I've gone down to f8 now. So that seems to be quite dark by comparison. So can I turn you back where you were? Perfect, thank you very much, Guy. Good. Okay, let's shoot a bunch here, good. Nice one. Okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna pull your shoulders back just a little, good. Well done. Are we getting light in the eyes? This is so strange not being able to see. Yeah, we're all good. So both eyes have got catch light, we're all good. I haven't gone too crazy.
Both have catch light.
Good.
And you have a nice Rembrandt going on.
Nah, that's what we like. Okay, so how about the back? Are we getting quite dark? Are we going shadows to dark?
It's very dark, yeah.
Good. So that's kind of what I wanted. Because the next thing I want to do is add a strip box in the back. I want to just add something. Let me just come see what's going on in here. So, oh, perfect. Good. Okay, good. I wanted that drama. However, what I might want to do is just bring another light just into the back here, just to make some separation between that dark background and Calais. So, because this is very me as well, I like to shoot dark. Like if I'm going to shoot dark, I go dark shirt, dark background. I kind of use the same tones a lot. So it does mean I like the drama. I quite like that. But some of you, say for instance, if you had somebody with very dark hair right now and you wanted to do the same thing, you could find that you might be overdoing it a little bit and it might disappear into the background. So this is where we would bring in, well, you could use a grid actually. There's some grids down there, but I'm going to use a strip just because it's here and I picked it up first. But that is the truth. Oh, how is that for camera view? Am I completely blocking?
We got another camera over there.
Okay, good. Right, happy days. Okay, so same thing again. What I would do here, okay, let's turn the modeling light on so I can see what I'm doing. And what head was this? This is A, I think, in the front, was it? I always forget. Yep, A in the front. That's what I try to do where possible. Okay, so I'm going to go head A. I'm going to turn off. So I'm going to turn my, which camera are we? This one?
Yeah, right now
this
it's
one?
that one. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to turn the key light off so I can see exactly what this kicker's doing. And because if I have everything on at the same time, sometimes your brain gets a little confused and you can't see what's doing what. So let's jump in here. I'm not going to go on TTL. I'm going to go on manual, just because, again, the position that I have the light in, let's shoot that way so it fills the screen a bit better for everyone. Good, let's see what we get here, Kelly. Okay, so how are we looking for a kicker? Does it come up?
Yeah, I would probably kick it up 0.3, 0.5.
0.3, 0.5.
Yeah, somewhere around that.
Now, I can't remember what head that was. Let's hope that it was B. That's one way to find out. Let's just... No, yes, okay. All right, so 1, 2... Okay, let's go 0.3. Let's take a quick test shot. It's quite handy having a light meter over there. Okay, how's that? Better or no?
Getting there.
Getting
there. I'll probably go another 0.2.
Oh,
yeah.
Whatever, let's go 0.6. How's that?
Oh, yeah.
Better? Now we're talking?
liking. Yes.
Okay. I might come and take a look. super quick. All right, so
now
good. Okay, so
good definition. We see the line here,
Absolutely.
and then not enough. You're not overdoing it on the side, because that's also very common that you get too strong of a kicker on the side.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of one. Well, my pet hates with kickers is that they're almost too bright. I mean, again, this comes down to personal taste. There is no right or wrong or anything like that. But for me, if your kicker is just as bright or brighter than your key light, for me, it should be there as a subtle thing to just help define. If it's really strong, it's going to be too dominant. And what happens? Your eye goes to the brightest part of the image. So you're going to go to the kicker light, not your key light, and not the face. So for me, I would start always with your background lights first, build it up slowly, and see what each of them are doing. But the idea is that this isn't overly strong, it's just there to be subtle. So now we know what that one's doing. We already know what this one's doing because we started off shooting with that one. Let's put them both on together. So let's jump back to head A and pop head A on. Oh, I just turned that one off as well. Spectacular, Hannah, well done. Okay, good. Right, so I'm going to turn your head a little bit more to that one. Okay, good, perfect, well done. Well, that's going to make me crazy if I get the top of your arm in. Okay, how are they looking together?
That's almost too good. That's just awesome.
Almost too good.
Almost too good. Yeah.
What does that even mean?
It's just way too good. No, I think you have a very good balance, just like you mentioned, because I think the same thoughts around the kicker. The kicker is in perfect balance with the main light here.
Cool. I'm actually going to, sorry, right in your face.
Yeah, no, so I have a dirty screen, so it's kind of hard to see. But you see there's a good balance.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, for me, I wanted a little bit more light on Callie's face. Just a little. Good, well done.
A tad more.
A tad more. So what I've done is turned his face towards the light a little bit more, so there's less shadow down the side. I mean, again, I have absolutely no idea how these are looking, but that's part of the fun.
They look good.
Good, I trust you.
Looks good.
A little bit taller in your body, and then chin down. Yeah, awesome. So for me, I mean, it really comes down to what you're trying to achieve. Some of you might prefer one light. I bet I prefer the ones with one light. But it comes down to what you're trying to achieve. So it's just a case if you've got a problem in that if somebody with very dark hair was sat there, or they're wearing a dark suit against a dark background, it just helps to create that little bit of definition and to separate. But it's not too much. But I am totally a fan of one light portraits for sure. I mean, that is that's my thing, that's my jam really. But it's nice to have the option to separate. Another thing that could be kind of interesting that I quite like to do, I quite like silver. So it's interesting because I quite like a silver beauty dish for men because I quite like that extra little bit of kick. Process your thoughts, Hannah. So the other reason I like the kicker on here is for men, I like that round the jaw. It helps just make it look a little bit more masculine. We can't see it as much. Can you just shave for me, please? But yeah, that's another reason that I like it for guys, is that it can just help sort of define the jawline a little bit more, just that little bit of on the neck there.
So let's do that. So that's the last party trick then. Try the
yes.
silver beauty,
So
and then
where I
we
was going
wrap
with
up,
that is that I wanted to sort of explain the difference in my choices for men and women. So I like that on a guy, and the other thing that I like for guys as well is the silver beauty dish, because I want that little bit more punch and that little bit more contrast. So I think it's still like a softer light, but the silver just gives it a little bit more punch. And the opposite now to what we were trying to do with Ellen, which was to not fill the lines on her face. Now I kind of want to do that with Calais. So let's switch this up.
You can just take the other beat, or you want to take that off and.
No, I was just going to get it out of the way so everyone could see. Really. Okay. Good. And yeah, we'll chuck it on here. I don't think I'll. Let's see. All right. Okay. Right, so let's bring this in. Let's turn this guy off. Right. Oh, that's blue. Yikes. All right, let's make sure that's on properly before I send it AWOL. Okay, let's go. Yeah, so similar thing here. So I'm going to go right down the nose. I mean, in an ideal world, we would have a boom arm right now. But when you're short, the advantage to being short is that you can get underneath these. So I want this to be quite intense. So I'm going to go straight. Is that straight? Are you in the middle of that? Ah, perfect, brilliant. See the joy of having someone that can position their own light. But I tell you what I do, I come back and I don't always trust them, so I come round and just, is that pointing at your face? And then I come round and just go, yeah, it is. That's good. All right, so this is going to be quite intense, like straight down the barrel. So I want to, rather than your shoulders being wider, I want to actually bring them in a little bit because I don't, yeah, perfect, but keep them back. So very intense. This is like your mug shot. Let's go TTL because what head are we, by the way? Now we're on C, right? Okay, good. Okay, let's go TTL straight down the barrel. Oh no, we're on the live, aren't we? So let's go. Okay. All right. So what are we saying? TTL. Anything, or have we got no camera?
Yeah, no, I think that looks good. Maybe a little bit more light. I'm probably.
Okay, good. Now that's kind of where I wanted it for now, because of this reason. We can add in, because another thing that I've obviously with, yeah, you can see with colour here is I want to bring that, what we did before when we had this underneath. So I'm going to go silver at the top, silver at the bottom. I'm going to get you to hold that. Let's see how that balances out, because I might flip that to white, because if it is both even, we could run the risk of it being too bright from underneath and it just washing it out and we lose all definition. So let's see how we go. Let's try the silver first. The reason I'm doing that, again, is for his features. He's got these really intense eyes, I mean, in a nice way. And I want to bring the light out. So I want to kind of go for that double catch light. I want to do that. Okay, how are we going? How's it look? Is it too intense from the bottom?
Bam. No, it's not too intense.
No, I kind of like it. Are you saying that we want a bit more light from the top?
Yeah, probably a little bit, but not much. Maybe again.
I'm going to go half a stop. So I just switch to
exactly.
manual, and let's go half a stop. Let's go. Perfect. Okay, good. Are your eyes okay, Hannah?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So that little half a stop made the difference.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Do me a favour, if you don't mind, Kelly. Can you switch that over round to white? So if we can just turn it around the other way. So if you don't like how bright that catch light is in the bottom, let's try white instead. So you still get a little bit of kickback, but you don't get as intense with the catch light coming on there. And obviously, same old thing. The closer you bring it, the more intense it's going to be. So let's do that again. Let's get in here. Oh, I've actually put the camera to my face. I'm actually going to sit you up a little bit taller.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Lovely job. Excellent. Well done. Good. So it's quite intense. Get right in here. Good. Lovely. Okay. Wonderful. If I got. Yeah, I'm doing it. Right. Okay. I'm going to switch to 2.8. I'm going to take my shutter speed up. I'm going to go TTL. This is a guess, but I'll explain what I'm doing in just a second. Oh, holding my breath now when I shoot. Okay, have we got dark in the back? Yep, good. Okay, so it's a bit more intense. I'm going to go up a little bit more on that. Let's go again, colour. Lovely. Let me just check this. Okay, cool. So can I go back to silver? Do you mind just flipping that one more time? And then I think I've got the shot that I want, and then I'll shut up. Okay, good. Good, lovely. Okay, how's that looking?
Yeah, you get the catch
Good,
light.
good, fabulous. Okay, so what I did there is, do you remember before I was, thank you, let me take that off for you and get that out of your face so that you can see. What I did there was, do you remember before I said I was shooting around 3.2 and we were getting a lot of light coming in because of the ambient light in the room? Because that was quite intense, I wanted to get right in on the eyes, so I decided that I wanted to drop the aperture down. So I dropped down to 2.8 on my aperture, but therefore what I needed to do is shut light out from somewhere else. How am I going to do that? Shutter speed. So what I did is I ended up my shutter speed, I think, 500, 640.
640, yeah.
Right, so as I didn't count, to be fair, I didn't count. I just turned the dial and went, right, let me guess. And I chucked it in 640. But it meant that I wasn't getting any weird colour cast. I know that what's happening, well, the way to test it, this is where it's going to fail completely. And this is where I look like a disaster. But if ever you're not sure just what's going on, there you go. So now, when you've taken a shot without flash, just sometimes take a test shot with just the ambient light. To be fair, I could probably go a little bit more with the shutter speed to shut a little bit more out. But because I went to 2.8, I needed to shut light out from somewhere else. I didn't have, look how fast we did that. No calculations, no nothing. It just went into high speed sync. Perfect. I just went into TTL and went, give me a shot now, go. Because I work fast, I want to move quickly. I made a decision that on that shot, I wanted to get in, I wanted to get intense, I wanted to drop out quite quickly. So I just went 2.8, smack out the ambient light from the shutter speed instead, throw it on TTL, we got there. We weren't faffing around, taking a light meter reading, going back, putting this in, oh, where's that light coming from? Could it be this, could it be that? But that's experience. That is a little bit of experience to know that, of course, with all this ambient light in here, it would be affecting us. But if ever you're in doubt, turn off the flash, just take an ambient exposure and see if you're getting any light leaks from anywhere or how much of that light is coming in. You've got two options of how to shut it out. Mostly your shutter speed, but you know, be careful because sometimes if you are at a limit, if you can't get into high speed sync, it's then going to leak info your aperture as well. Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you.
I think we'll wrap up with that. Thank you to our talents, Elin and Kalle.
Yes, I was just trying to avoid it. Thank you, superstar. Well done. Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you, Kalle. You're a star. Thank you so much. You guys are great.
Yep.
But this is the thing, is that we've got very different people. One that's petrified, one that doesn't care. Male, female, you know, completely different. Want to bring out some of Calle's features that Ellen wanted to hide. So this is it. It all comes down to the individual and choosing the right tool for the job. So thank you, guys. Thank you very
Excellent.
much.
Thank you so
Fabulous.
much, and we'll see all of you viewers in August. We'll be back in August, and hopefully Facebook have fixed their server issues. I know they have the big server halls up here in northern part of Sweden. I think it's up in Luleå where they have
Oh, really?
most of the yeah.
That's a thing.
So with that, we'll say thank you and goodbye, and have fun and enjoy.